Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans, do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel because here we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey Cowboys fans, today we're diving deep into one of the most shocking and frankly alarming performances we've seen from Dallas in recent memory. As many of you already know, Thursday Night Football delivered a game that left fans and analysts alike questioning everything about this team, particularly in the aftermath of a 44-30 defeat to the Detroit Lions. And trust me, this isn't just about the final score. There's a lot to unpack here, from coaching decisions to individual performances, special teams nightmares, and what this all means for the Cowboys season moving forward. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's get into this, piece by piece, detail by detail, because this game might very well be a turning point or a wake-up call for the entire organization. First off, let's talk about the initial shock factor. A 14-point loss might seem manageable on paper, especially against a team as talented as Detroit, but the way this game unfolded was revealing of deeper issues within the Cowboys' roster and coaching philosophy. The game was a roller coaster, with moments of brilliance and episodes of chaos, particularly on special teams, which, as we'll see, played a pivotal role in the outcome. The game was marked not just by the points scored, but by the way those points were conceded, exposing vulnerabilities that have been brewing for some time now. It's one thing to lose a game, it's another to lose control of key phases of the game, and that's exactly what happened here. Now, let's begin with the revelation that has everyone talking. The Dallas Cowboys special teams, especially the coverage units, were catastrophic. It's been an ongoing issue, but Thursday night was a nadir that might force some hard questions about the coaching staff, particularly Nick Sorensen, the special teams coordinator. We saw Tom Kennedy, a name that many fans probably hadn't heard before last night, return 3 kickoffs for a total of 141 yards, an average of over 40 yards per return. That's almost unheard of in NFL standards, especially against a team with the caliber of the Cowboys coverage unit. Kennedy's returns weren't spectacular because he broke tackles or made dazzling cuts. Instead, he ran straight up the field with minimal resistance, taking advantage of lapses in Dallas coverage. And it wasn't just Kennedy. Jacob Sailors also returned 5 kicks for 141 yards, averaging over 28 yards per return. That's an almost incomprehensible level of ineffectiveness from the Cowboys' special teams. When you combine those numbers, you realize that Detroit's starting drives were often set up near midfield or worse, and that's a huge factor in the game's outcome. It's no coincidence that Detroit scored on 8 different possessions, all of which were short fields, none longer than 60 yards. That's a damning statistic because it shows how much the Cowboys' special teams, especially the coverage units, handed the Lions free opportunities to control the game. Let's reflect for a moment. How often have we seen Dallas's special teams struggle this season? It's been an issue, but last night was a stark reminder that the problem hasn't been fixed. The coverage unit was simply indefensible, allowing 32.6 yards per return on 8 attempts is inexcusable at this level, especially when the game is on the line. Turpin, the supposed return specialist, was largely ineffective, barely advancing beyond the 30-yard line. This disparity between Turpin's performance and Kennedy's or Sailors highlights a fundamental breakdown in the coverage scheme and perhaps in player execution. Now, what does this mean for the Cowboys overall? The game was lost, in part, because of these special teams gaffes. Field position is everything in football, and when you're giving your opponents short fields time and again, you're essentially handing them free points or at least very manageable drives. The Lions' offense, led by Jared Goff, was efficient and capitalized on these opportunities. They scored on 8 possessions with no drive longer than 60 yards. That's a nightmare scenario for any defense or special teams unit. It's a systematic failure that calls into question the coaching decisions and the talent level on coverage units. But let's not forget, the defense also had its share of issues. Giving up 44 points is never acceptable, regardless of the opponent. The defense was under constant pressure, and while the Lions' offense deserves credit for executing well, the Cowboys' secondary and front seven had moments where they looked disorganized and out of sync. The defensive line, which we've previously praised for its potential, struggled to generate consistent pressure on Goff, and the secondary appeared hesitant at times, allowing some completions that kept drives alive. This, combined with the special teams breakdown, created a perfect storm that the Lions exploited ruthlessly. Now, zooming out and looking at the broader picture, how does this game fit into the Cowboys' current season? It's important to recognize that Dallas entered this game with high expectations. After a promising start, there was a sense that the team was finally turning the corner, especially with Dak Prescott playing some of his best football. But this game exposes a lot of underlying issues: coaching conservatism, lapses in special teams execution, and defensive inconsistencies. It's a wake-up call that even a talented team like Dallas can falter massively if the details aren't addressed. In terms of season implications, this loss throws a wrench in the Cowboys' playoff ambitions. While it's still early in the season, each game has ripple effects on standings, tiebreakers, and confidence. Losing a divisional game on the road to a team like Detroit isn't just about the loss. It's about how the team responds moving forward. Do they learn from their mistakes? Can they fix the special teams coverage issues quickly? Or will this game become a defining moment of turmoil and internal questioning? These are critical questions that the coaching staff and players need to confront. Let's shift our focus to some key player performances. Dak Prescott, who's been a bright spot at times this season, had a mixed night. He threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he also threw an interception and was under constant pressure. The offensive line, which had been somewhat reliable, had its worst game of the season protecting Prescott. The Lions' pass rush was relentless, and the interior protection broke down multiple times, leading to hurried throws and missed opportunities. This offensive line inconsistency is another chapter of concern for Dallas. It's clear they need to shore up their protection schemes if they want to keep Prescott healthy and productive moving forward. On the defensive side, players like Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs are always under the microscope. Parsons, known for his explosiveness and disruptive ability, had moments of impact but couldn't consistently pressure Goff or contain Detroit's running game. Diggs, who's become a key part of Dallas's secondary, was targeted multiple times and gave up some completions, raising questions about whether the secondary is as locked down as fans hoped. These individual performances reflect a team still trying to find cohesion and consistency, a common theme in Dallas's recent seasons. And what about the coaching? Brian Schottenheimer's game plan was criticized for being overly conservative, especially on offense. The Cowboys had moments where they settled for field goals instead of going for touchdowns, and that conservative approach might have cost them dearly. But the more glaring issue was the special teams. We've seen glimpses of this problem before, but Thursday night was a clear indicator that something needs to change. The question is whether Schottenheimer will adapt his approach, or if the front office will consider a change at the special teams coordinator position, perhaps moving on from Nick Sorensen. The evidence from this game suggests that a change might be necessary to avoid similar breakdowns in future crucial games. Now, it's worth noting the historical context here. Dallas has a storied franchise with a tradition of excellence, but recent seasons have been marred by inconsistency, especially in special teams and defensive lapses. The last few years have seen the team often fall short in critical moments, and this game is yet another chapter in that ongoing story. Fans remember the glory days, but right now, the Cowboys are stuck in a cycle of promising starts and disappointing finishes. This game, with all its chaos and breakdowns, could serve as a catalyst for change, or, if handled improperly, as a setback that hampers confidence. Looking ahead, the Cowboys face a series of important challenges. The upcoming schedule includes divisional matchups and games against playoff-caliber teams, meaning they cannot afford to repeat these special teams' mistakes. The coaching staff must evaluate the film thoroughly and make the necessary adjustments, whether that involves personnel changes, schematic tweaks, or intensified special teams drills. For players like Turpin, who's expected to be a game-changer on returns, this game's performance will be a wake-up call. If the team hopes to make a deep playoff run, these issues must be addressed promptly. So, what can we expect moving forward? The Cowboys have shown flashes of brilliance, offensively with Prescott leading the charge, and defensively with some moments of disruption. But the recurring theme is inconsistency, especially in critical phases like special teams and protection. The coaching staff will be under pressure to fix these issues quickly. Rumors might start swirling about potential changes at the coordinator level, and players will need to step up to regain confidence. In the grand scheme of things, this loss could be a blessing in disguise if Dallas uses it as a learning opportunity. The season is far from over, but the window for complacency has closed. The team must analyze what went wrong, correct those mistakes, and come back stronger. The next few weeks will be telling. Can they rebound from this setback, or will it be a sign of deeper problems? The rivalry with the Eagles, the upcoming game against the Giants, and the critical divisional matchups are all on the horizon, and they will be the real tests of Dallas's resilience. Now, before we wrap up, let's consider the fans and media reactions. Cowboys Nation is passionate, and right now there's a lot of frustration. Social media is flooded with questions. How can the special teams be so bad? Why isn't the coaching staff making changes? And most importantly, are the Cowboys still a playoff contender? While some fans are calling for heads to roll, others are urging patience, emphasizing that one game doesn't define a season. The truth is, this game has exposed vulnerabilities that must be addressed, and the team's response in the coming weeks will tell us everything about their true character. In conclusion, this game is a stark reminder that in the NFL, no lead or talent guarantees victory. The Dallas Cowboys, a franchise with a rich history and a passionate fan base, now face a crossroads. Will they learn from their mistakes and evolve? Or will this be a setback that lingers? The road ahead is challenging, and every game matters more than ever. As fans, we must stay vigilant, support our team, and hope that this game becomes a catalyst for growth rather than a sign of deeper issues. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Dallas Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and IT makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let's continue with the big reveal.